What is going on, Steelers Nation? Jeremy Ritz here with a Steelers quick hitter on this Friday as we get ready for a showdown with the Ravens. And after last week's debacle versus the Buffalo Bills, where the Steelers were gashed this way and that by that running attack, it doesn't appear. What is going on, Steelers Nation? Welcome to a Steelers quick hitter here with Jeremy Ritz. Very glad that you're joining me as we get ready for the Steelers to take on the Baltimore Ravens this weekend in Baltimore, 1 p.m. as the Steelers come off of the pounding at the hands of the Buffalo Bills, who just ran at whatever angle they wanted, chunking yards, running up a record at Acrisure Stadium, and leaving Steelers fans like myself dejected, angry, frustrated, and feeling a lack of hope heading here into the final 5 games of the season. And Mike Tomlin promised that they are going to turn over every stone, that they're going to do everything that they can do to get this ship steered in the right direction. And what did they go out and do? They continued their pursuit of aged veterans. We know that the team signed Aaron Rodgers this offseason, who is now at the helm at QB, but they went out and signed Adam Thielen at wide receiver. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that name. Jim always gets on me about my pronunciations, but that's the move that they make. Now, I know that we're deep into the season. There aren't a lot of players out there to be acquired who can help right away, but hopefully his veteran presence, his ability to get open, he's a great route runner, will help this offense, because anything is better than what we've seen on display these past few weeks. But it's interesting that they continue to bring in older players in the hopes that it will somehow get this team lifted and back on track. What's next? Are they going to call up Lynn Swann out of retirement? Who knows? And for me, and this might sound very defeated, but my attention has shifted towards the draft, because even if this team does make it into the playoffs, let's be honest, do they have the firepower offensively to compete with the excellent teams that are out there? I can't even say Kansas City anymore, but you look at Baltimore, even though they are 6-6 as well. You look at some of those teams in the NFC, Detroit. You look at the Eagles. Again, you name the team. New England. I know that we beat New England at the start of the year because of all those turnovers, but you look at the firepower that a lot of these teams have, and when you put the offense that the Steelers have up against those teams, there's no comparison. And on top of that, the defense that was at least standing pat, showing some signs of promise, has become lifeless. And really what you have are two futile units, both offensively and defensively. And so that's why my attention has shifted towards the draft, which uniquely enough is in Pittsburgh, which is something that we all have to look forward to. And it appears that the team is going to have 12 picks, more than likely 3 third-round picks. They're going to have a lot of capital in the event that they want to move up. And I'm looking at quarterbacks. And they're probably going to be drafting between 11 and 16, depending on how the season finishes out. If Tomlin gets another notch on his belt for a 9-8 season, above 500. And looking at those top quarterbacks, Ty Simpson out of Alabama, Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana, Dante Moore out of Oregon. And one of the things that I want to see in the next signal caller for this team, for the franchise quarterback, they must have a cannon arm. It has to be an elite level NFL arm. And just looking at those top 3 prospects, Moore fits that mold. So does Mendoza. Simpson, not so much. And I know one thing that I want to see, whomever they pursue, and maybe they don't draft a QB this year. Maybe they don't have enough firepower to move up, because it would take a lot. But Moore has a better arm. So does Mendoza. Simpson does not. And you can't overstate the value of that in NFL offense. The mobility too, all 3 of these players have that mobility. There are other prospects in the later rounds who are more developmental, but these three seem the most NFL ready and are at the top of the board. And if I had my way and I was able to pull the trigger on the draft, Dante Moore is who I would have my sights set on. But again, we don't even know if he's going to declare yet for the draft. And then that takes us to Mike Tomlin. The talk of Mike Tomlin getting fired, being let go, an amicable departure at the end of the year. Maybe he has a conversation with the Rooneys and he decides he wants to step away, take a break from the league. And I just don't know if I see that happening. The Steelers are an organization that loves stability. Being with the team for 19 years, 3 coaches over the past, it seems like an eternity. It just doesn't seem like the likely outcome unless Tomlin determines he wants a break. And the questions being thrown out there about a potential trade, is it a possibility? Yes. Is it a likelihood? No. You're hearing people talk about the Giants being an unstable franchise, looking for their next solid head coach. They haven't had anyone strong there since Tom Coughlin. Could that happen? Anything is possible, but remember, Tomlin has a no trade clause in his contract, and it seems more of a pipe dream than anything else. But I'll say this, Tomlin is a great coach. He's a great leader of men. And even though I do think it's time for the organization and Tomlin to part ways, that doesn't mean there's any ill will towards Tomlin because he's done a lot for this team. He's done a lot for this city. It's just the natural evolution and the ebb and flow of the NFL where your message loses its luster, its power over the players. And I think for his career, he's better served to go somewhere and start anew. It's very similar to what happened with Andy Reid in Philadelphia. And if he is feeling that way, those conversations will happen this offseason. But as persistent or stubborn, whatever term you want to use to describe Tomlin, as persistent and stubborn as he is, it's hard to see him walking away and giving up. But we'll see how that comes to the surface here once this season is over. And then finally, what typically is a big matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers, AFC North football, it just doesn't have that same feeling. And again, not to sound dejected and hopeless, but it's the reality of this black and gold unit. And sure, Lamar Jackson is hobbled. He's not going to be at full strength, but this is a game that's in Baltimore. This is a team that can run the football, and they must be salivating from what the Steelers have put on tape. And I just don't see a scenario in which the Steelers are able to host a win. Stranger things have happened, but it looks like another L is in the works coming this Sunday for the Steelers team. But in order to improve and to get better and to progress, sometimes the bottom has to fall out. And if that happens, it happens. We know the reality of this team. We get hopeful every time they secure a win or somebody flashes on the team in terms of talent, but it never carries through. And the only way that this team can get off the schneid is if somebody steps up both offensively and defensively and becomes that catalyst for a resurgence of this team that everybody can rally around. But who are those players? Nobody is showing up. And it's got to start Sunday in Baltimore if it's going to happen. And there was a quote that I read in some publication this week, Pittsburgh publication, where Dick LeBeau said after a Steelers loss that he's seen sicker dogs get better faster. And essentially what that means is, you know, if your team's struggling, things could change in an instant. The opportunities to change, to improve, to get better, to win are fading, and it has to start in Baltimore this Sunday, and hopefully they can do that, but I'm not so sure they'll be able to. But anyway, that's the Steelers Quick Hitter for this Friday. We appreciate you supporting the channel. Make sure you check out Jim and I next week for the Still City Insider podcast. Drop a comment below. What will be the outcome of the Baltimore game? Do the Steelers have a shot, or will they get trounced by King Henry and Lamar? And will it be another Steelers loss? I would love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you back here for the next Steelers Quick Hitter.